Well, hello. I'm thinking of using this space as therapy. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded anything. I'm not even sure if anyone is interested in listening to my ramblings. I really apologise to the one subscriber who might listen to this upload for not being more committed and consistent, but I've been going through all the feels of depression. Please know it is not my aim to trauma dump, even though I don't like this term because people do need friends, listeners, advisors, and all sorts of things. And the word trauma dump to me feels as if it is a characterization created by those who are full of apathy and not interested in helping anybody else. I do understand at the same time that there are individuals who like to take advantage of others and just overwhelm them with their own issues, which is not fair either. But anyway, I'm not here to unload my problems to the world. They do say, though, that a problem shared is a problem halved. And part of my woes have been dealing with interactions with humans on a more personal level, in other words, relationships. It goes without saying we're all so different yet so predictable and the same from some perspectives. It is like an oxymoron concept. Last time I had promised that I would continue on with some examples of narcissistic personality disorder or narcissistic behavior as I experienced it in a relationship, at least if my memory doesn't fail me. And an example that I wanted to use was, well, two examples. One of them was because it was such an on and off, again, relationship, I saw a lot of red flags and things that I couldn't quite understand that freaked me out, and inevitably I wanted to remove myself from that situation. So sometimes I would just back off and ask the other person to reflect upon what had just happened. Then he would go off and catch up with his ex. I don't know if they are just friends, but it was something that didn't make me feel very comfortable. Apart from that though, I found him to be a little bit emotionally, I don't know if unavailable is the word, that's not the correct term, because sometimes I think, I'm not sure if he genuinely felt certain things or if he manufactured them in order for me to be present in the relationship and hooked on him, while at other times he just seemed as if he was apathetic. And what I mean by that is that he wasn't very giving emotionally when it came to certain moments in our journey. For example, on one of the occasions that we had a little bit of a misunderstanding or a point that was up for a lot of discussion and clarification, it was approaching to Valentine's Day, and I still put something together for him. We ended up meeting and spending the day together, but he had never put any effort toward me. It's not that I expect people to gift me things, but I had thought maybe he could have cut a flower from the garden or done something to show a little bit of warmth and appreciation toward me. So when I asked him why that was, he said that because we had a bit of an up and down kind of relationship, he didn't know if we were going to break up, and initially he was going to draw something for me because he was an artist. But because he wasn't sure if we were going to be together on Valentine's Day, he just considered that it wasn't worth investing in putting a piece of art together for me. Now, I found that to be very callous and very, I don't know what the correct term is, because even if you break up with someone, you appreciate the times you have spent together, and whatever effort they have put towards you, whether it's cooking a meal or which I would do very often for us, or taking care of certain things for you, which I sometimes did without wanting to go into too much detail. But I mean, I gave from myself, and I considered it very unfair and inappropriate that this person wasn't even willing to draw something simple, even a caricature which takes a much shorter span and can be done in minutes. Obviously, this person was saying that he wasn't willing to invest his effort in anything that would go to me because he was thinking like a narcissist. If I was to remove my supply from him, then he would go without. So therefore, it wouldn't be worth him investing any time whatsoever in me if I wasn't going to give him any caring, attention, and all the other things that I did for him. I just want you to know, the reason I'm mentioning this is because I want you to know that this is how a typical narcissist thinks. Why are they going to put effort if there's nothing in the future in it for them? They will put at any time actually minimal effort, whatever costs them the least, whatever takes the least time and effort in order to obtain things from you. At the beginning, they may be a little bit more infatuated with you because they see you as a perfect person who is there to save them from whatever gloom and doom has been plaguing them in the past and from previous relationships that treated them unfairly. This is always their perspective, not necessarily the truth. So they put a lot of hope in you, and when you start showing fallibility as a human, that you're not perfect, you fall from this pedestal, and all of a sudden they don't want to invest in you as much. At the beginning, they're also trying to love bomb you so that you will become completely hooked on them. And when they are aware that you are in it emotionally, then they start pulling back. Another example that I can think of, which I was shocked about, was that he would not only say horrible things about his ex, I'm not sure how much of it had some kind of truth to it and if it was completely skewed or fabricated, but he was the eternal victim in every social circumstance that he was involved in and any relationship except for one person whom he used to be on and off with, or at least had continuing communication with, and that was the ex that he would catch up with whenever he would get upset with me and she was in town. Well, just going back now to the woman that he was bad-mouthing, he said to me that he felt ashamed to be seen in public with her because he felt that she wasn't good-looking enough for him. And I was shocked. I thought, why would you have a relationship with someone that you felt wasn't enough for you, or that you felt uncomfortable and ashamed about? I was completely horrified to the point of hearing alarm bells going off and wondering how this man could feel put off by a woman and still continue in a relationship with her, because obviously he was getting some sort of supply, and because there wasn't anybody else around at the time to give it to him, he would put up with whatever he considered unacceptable or undesirable, as long as he wasn't alone and as long as he was receiving attention and loving and narcissistic supply. If you have experienced anything similar and you're wondering, does this person love me or do they hate me? You're not crazy. It is how it is. They can be even in complete despising of you, but they will not go away because you're still giving them attention and supply. One time I remember recording a video of a cricket chirping because I found it soothing and beautiful, and I leaned over to be closer to the ground, to place my phone closer to the ground so that the microphone of my device would be as close as possible to the animal and record his song clearly. So when I got home, not on the same day, but months later, I think we may have even, had broken up by that time. But as I was going through my videos and I was looking for what I should be deleting, what I should be keeping, I came across this particular video and I played it, and I wanted to listen to the beautiful cricket, and I came across the part where I sort of shifted position and went closer to the ground, and it was the point where I leaned over. He must have felt absolutely disgusted at my legs, because I saw his expression, the grimace, was one of disgust or disdain. Of course, I was really upset to see the expression that he had pulled behind my back, and when he thought I wasn't watching and he didn't realise that the camera flipped as I changed position to face the other direction and leaned forward to bend toward the ground so I could record the sound in a more magnified and clear way. He didn't realise that the camera captured his expression. Now, I'm not sure, he could have been thinking about something else, but I'm almost 99.9 certain when I say I think he didn't like what he saw, my legs, and that's the face that he pulled, because according to his own perception, he was much better looking than any of his girlfriends. That's what a narcissist will always think. They think they are in another league, way above the rest of the world, and yet sometimes they self-doubt and self-hate. I remember one thing also that he told me, that if he doesn't receive affection and love displayed to him for a while, he goes into self-attack mode, self-destructive mode in his mind. And according to therapy, healing from trauma experts I've listened to, and thank goodness those resources were there for me, because they helped me a lot to gain my strength and maneuver away from this toxic relationship. According to these wonderful people, if a narcissist is left without any narcissistic supply, they go crazy, they can't cope. They need to constantly be receiving attention, love, effort, admiration. They need to be always adored and adulated. I have so much to share with you and so much I want to say, so many thoughts, reflections and deductions that I've made, which are contradictory to a lot of information I have read on relationships, even by experts on psychology. Sometimes they don't get it right, and if they haven't experienced it, then how can they know? But there are other resources, thankfully, from people who have also been exposed to trauma at the hands of not so kind people, apathetic people, mentally unwell people. We all have our own mental scars from the battlefield, and you've got to understand, whatever age we are, that's the amount of years of baggage that we've carried from unfortunate encounters in the human world, because a lot of people are not very nice. And so the things that we go through scar us. How well we adapt and whether we bounce back depends on our upbringing, our DNA, our number of incidences that exposed us to trauma, and a lot of other factors. But thankfully, there are people out there who can understand and have been through similar experiences. And this is why I want to share my thoughts with you, because if they resonate and they can help you, then I am honoured. And I'm also serving a form of catharsis and getting things off my chest. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, please take care.